Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got some special guests on the line with us today.
Yes, indeed.
We have Jasmine, Jeffrey, and Marcus Jordan. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
Michael Jordan's children on the line right now. Now, I know Marcus. I try to step on his sneak every time I see him because he always has some picks. First time meeting Jeffrey and Jasmine. Welcome, guys. So how is it watching your dad and reliving this? Because, you know, in some of the footage, we actually see you guys. So how is it reliving some of the things that we've seen?
It's crazy, man. It's definitely
go ahead, Jeff.
It's definitely been nostalgic, man. It's definitely been great to reminisce, and been texting these two back and forth, catching up on memories, and it's just been cool. It's cool watching it with the rest of the world. I haven't seen anything early, so seeing everybody's reaction and response has been real cool.
Have y'all ever worn any other sneaker brand ever? Is a Reebok or Adidas or anything else allowed in your house?
Hell no.
Definitely.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Skechers, look, the light up Skechers.
Okay.
They threw them in the garbage?
Absolutely. My pops threw them shits out.
You couldn't even wear the light up sketches when you was a kid?
When I tell you I was hurt,
No.
I was hurt.
How old were you?
Oh, I was like 6 or 7. I was super young.
It was last year she tried to wear them light up sketches.
Right.
So you couldn't even do the little roller skating sneakers or nothing, huh?
No.
Shut it all down.
Bad. Shut it all down.
How does the Last Dance documentary make you feel about your father's legacy? I'd like to hear from all three of y'all on this.
Yeah, for me, I always feel like the foundation that he built can't be rivaled. Just the way that he grew the game of basketball. Obviously, everything that he's done with the Jordan brand and just changing sneaker culture as a whole. And so I feel like it's good for kids today who didn't really get a chance to watch him play. Now you get to hear some of the stories. Even people that got to watch him play, now you kind of pulling the curtain behind the scenes and, getting into the weeds of what was really going on during that season. So I think it's really good for people to see.
I want all y'all to answer that.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that. I'll say, I think to Mark's point, it definitely elevated that, experience, whether you were there or not. I think it's a great benefit for the young kids and even for us. It's like, having an opportunity to see not only what he was going through, but what the team was going through, what his teammates were going through, what Phil had to kind of put together and manage on a day-to-day basis. So I think all those little details in the story really just elevate the legacy.
Yeah, I think for me, I was so young during the time, I barely remember it. So I'm watching it like everybody else, like, damn, Dad, you did that. Like, it's incredible and it's inspiring, honestly, to just kind of see it and take it all in with fresh eyes. And it's something that I look forward to sharing, like, obviously with my son as he grows and nurtures and appreciates the game, and then just seeing how the game is today and back then. Like, it's almost like our own history lesson. So I definitely love it. It's definitely exciting to actually see it unfold, but it's way better than I even expected.
Well, Jasmine, first of all, I want to tell Jasmine Happy Mother's Day too, by the way, since that's coming.
Thank you.
I know it's a weird time. And the three of you guys all seem very kind of private about your lives. And we've seen Michael Jordan on the documentary talking about just how being a celebrity sometimes can really suck, like not having your own space. So was that a conscious decision for you guys to say, I don't want to have to be like out there, people, harassing me about things?
Yeah, I think our parents really, obviously they're private people. And I think one of the things that adds to my dad, who he is and the legacy is that mystery behind him. He's not easily accessible. People always talk about if he was to grow up in the social media age, what would it look like? And I think, honestly, he probably wouldn't even enjoy social media just because he was so, laser focused on his craft and trying to be the best. So, I think obviously that rubbed off on us. My mom, she didn't really let us spend the night out often when we was growing up. We weren't in Face Jam's actors, but we weren't in the movie. And so, little things like that, she just really wanted to shelter us and protect us so that we could kind of have a somewhat normal upbringing.
Now, how was he as a dad as far as being a competitor? Because we see on the film that he was like, as far as competing, man, if it came to, chewing gum, he was going to try to blow more bubbles than anybody. Like, he was that much of a competitor. How was he as a father?
That didn't change.
Yeah, he was still
No.
still competitive. Yeah, he was still competitive. I think that was one of the biggest things that one of the misconceptions were that he couldn't, turn that off, and he definitely could turn that off and be, dad, take us to school, making sure we got our work done and did everything we needed to do. But when it was on, it was on. It was, it was competition.
I got a crazy story actually. When we was little, we would play football on our knees, like tackle football on our knees with my dad, right? And so there was this one time where we were playing in their room and they had these round like end tables at the end of their bed. And so Jeff was going for a touchdown, and I'll never forget it. My dad tackles Jeff into the glass table. Jeff hits his head into the glass table. I thought he was dead. I mean, you can literally like me in his skull. Like me and Jasmine were terrified. We were crying. My mom comes in the room. She tapped on. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? And so the Jeff, I think you had to get 25 stitches.
About 30 stitches to the head.
Yeah. So that just, that's the competitive, and obviously it was an accident, but you don't know how to stop.
First of all, you should have been playing goddamn football with Michael Jordan. I don't care if that was your daddy or not. That was a waste of time. Hell was you playing football
Facts.
with?
Facts. Lesson learned.
I saw on the Today Show where you said your father used to go hard on y'all when y'all would play one-on-one.
Oh, yeah.
And
Definitely.
Even though y'all went on to play in college, did that ever discourage you from basketball? Like, man, I don't want to play this game.
No, I don't think so. I think it was, if anything, it it lit more of a fire under us to want to get out there and play. I walked on at University of Illinois, and I had scholarship offers before that. And, I just wanted to play at the highest level. I think we all just wanted to do what we could possibly do at the best level, highest level we could possibly do it at. So definitely didn't discourage us. I think we kind of knew our boundaries, so to speak, when it came to us playing and really getting competitive. And the court was kind of the peak of that, the crescendo for where that would go down. So, we would train and we would talk about it. We would do all the off the court stuff, make sure we watch a lot of film and stuff like that. But everything we did, definitely for me, and I know for Marcus as well, definitely lit that fire and kept that fuse going for the game.
Now, Jasmine, for you, let me ask you this, because you are about to get married soon, right? So are you going to keep your last name, or what are you going to do? You're going to hyphenate it? Because I know you don't want to.
It'll be hyphen. So I'll go by Jordan Christmas. I'm still trying to get used to Christmas. Like
Christmas.
It's a weird
last name.
But no, it'll be that. It'll be Jordan Christmas, and then we'll start, marketing that, because
I can't wait to see that on the back of the jersey.
I know, crazy, but no.
Is it true that when you guys had friends come over, if your friends weren't wearing Jordan, your dad would throw their sneakers away?
100%.
Really?
That's still to this day. There's this funny story about Bow Wow. I was good friends. We were good friends with Bow Wow when we were younger, and Bow would come to the house wearing Iversons and Converse. Why? Because he was doing like Mike and all that stuff.
Oh.
He was one of the only people I knew as a kid with a two-way pager, and I had nobody to text. So, but yeah, so he would come to the house wearing Iversons or Converse or whatever, and then my dad would always make sure to throw them out.
Did you guys want to be in Space Jam? Or I know you were on set.
Hell yeah.
He said, hell yeah.
No, the men in the green suits being monsters terrified me. I wanted no parts of it.
I wanted the check. Probably not all the fame, but the check would have been nice at the time.
Let me ask you a question.
We were on set, though. We were on set.
Marcus.
What's up?
Jeffrey. Jasmine, I want y'all all to answer this. Do people argue with you about who's the greatest, MJ or LeBron? Do y'all personally get into those arguments?
Hell yeah. I think, one of the things that I'm like a Twitter warrior. I like to pick my fights on Twitter. And, the hardest thing about watching this documentary early was holding on to them tweets when the doc went live. It's so hard. It's so hard. But, now, I'm always engaging with people just because, you can't debate it because the eras are so different. The game is so different now that I honestly feel like you can't, have a serious debate, but it's always going to happen.
Yeah, Marcus, I see you on Twitter as it's airing, right, on ESPN. How many times do you have to delete a tweet you were about to send out?
So it's funny. My dad's PR people are always monitoring my tweets, trying to make sure I don't get out of hand. So there's been some times where I tweeted about, I think LeBron or something, and my dad texted me. He was like, "Hey, how you doing?" He set me up. He was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm good, Dad. Everything's fine, whatever." He was like, "Hey, stay off Twitter, man. Stay off LeBron."
What about Jeffrey and Jasmine? Do Jeffrey and
Nah.
Jasmine get in those arguments with LeBron about LeBron?
I let Marcus handle all that, man. I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that. Marcus does enough talking for all of us, and like you said, it's just you can't really compare era to era. And I like having those debates with friends and close teammates, but it's not worth the Twitter controversy for me.
No,
same for you, Jasmine.
Yeah, Marcus definitely handles our lightweight, but I mean, people that know me know I do support LeBron. I think he's an incredible athlete, but I'm more so having the conversations like, y'all can't forget Kobe. Like, come on now. Like, you can't just go straight from my pops to LeBron and just ignore that man.
I agree.
My Mamba. So, that's how I kind of weigh it in. I just make sure, like we've been saying, it's era on era, and you can't really compare the two, but we're biased. And at the end of the day, my dad's the GOAT. Like, that's it.
I saw a good tweet the other day. Somebody was like, you can love Michael Jordan and still love LeBron James.
Yeah, very true.
Right. It doesn't have to be a competition all the time.
I say it like this: Michael Jordan is a god, and LeBron is a king, and that's fine.
100%.
It's cool.
I don't agree at all.
They coexist.
LeBron is definitely the greatest right now. I definitely give him that.
But I agree with Jasmine too. Like, you can't skip over Kobe. To me, Kobe was the next thing under MJ. The closest to MJ I've seen was Kobe.
Absolutely.
All right, I got a question for y'all then. Charlamagne, MVE. Who would y'all put, LeBron or Kobe right now?
Yeah.
Kobe.
I don't know.
Kobe. And that's not because he passed away. I always felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you asking all of us?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I got to think about that. That's a tough one. You know what? I would have to say Kobe, right? And the reason I say Kobe is because Kobe had that competitive heart. Like Michael Jordan, whether he was good, great, or okay, he made it seem like no matter what, he was going to win. He wanted that ball in that last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe wanted that ball in that last minute.
Yep.
LeBron is like, well, let me see who's open first. Let me, you know what I mean? Which is
Kobe. Kobe's he's a lot more like MJ, And then LeBron, I feel like I love what he's doing as far as being politically active. So for you guys, that was part of what we learned about Michael Jordan, because that's something people always question about him. Why wasn't he more involved when it comes to politics? So what was it like in that household, and how do you guys feel about that?
I would say it's, it really wasn't spoken about or talked about openly with us. I know for sure my parents were definitely politically active, and I think it lended to that privacy that we had growing up. They really just like to keep all those views private, but I think times change, and they've never been hesitant to change with the times and make sure that their thoughts and their values are relevant to what's going on today. So whatever it was 30 years ago, I think is different today, and they learn from the culture and the youth and everything that's been going on, just like we are on a day-to-day basis.
When you seen your dad getting, I want to say beat up by the Detroit Pistons and beat up by the Knicks and the Lakers, what was on your mind? Because those had to be some hard games from getting into the floor and tripped and cut and scratched. Like what was your mentality during those times?
Yeah, so for me, I've watched those games retroactively. I was born Christmas Eve 1990, and so I like to think I was the good luck that started the championship run. But during the 80s, it was a different game, man. Even like in the documentary, you hear him say when he got to the team, it was the Bulls traveling cocaine circus, right? The finals was on tape delay. It wasn't even airing live. And so I think it's a credit, to him and just how, again, he grew the game and what he had to overcome. He initiated the Breakfast Club, trying to, obviously you guys, the Breakfast Club. He started the Breakfast Club in '89, trying to get over the Bad Boys Pistons, and so he had the team coming in, working out 6 a.m. every day, and it was really like a collective thing. Like, we got to come in and do our thing and handle our business. So I think that's something that separates him. That was always his attitude. Let's find a way.
Now I saw somebody being critical about Michael Jordan having so much input in the docuseries, because he was able to see what everybody was going to say about him and then be able to respond to those things in advance. Do you think that criticism is warranted, or would it be a different documentary if he wasn't able to see some of those interviews in advance?
For me, I don't think so. I think, the way that they filmed it, I'm good friends with Jason, the director. And so it's been over about a year and a half that they filmed it. And so granted, they came back to him to ask his take on certain things because as they were interviewing everybody, they would get these different stories. And so I think they sat with my dad maybe 3 times. And then, obviously they would show him footage from other people. But, I don't think that you can truly make an authentic Michael Jordan documentary without having input from my dad,
Absolutely.
I think they've done as good as a job as they could. And I think each episode gets better and they start getting deeper into, what was going on. And, I'm excited to see what everybody thinks about 7 and 8 this week.
I mean, it's better to tell your own story, right? And then you get to clear up a bunch of misconceptions.
For sure.
The only problem I got with y'all is why y'all let y'all daddy walk around with them trash ass jeans on all them years.
Yeah. Now come on, Marcus. Come on, Marcus.
Come on now.
Daddy jeans is crazy.
Me, man, that's not me. Hey, listen.
Come on, Marcus.
He's comfortable, man. He had his heyday. He had his heyday of setting trends and being the swag guy. Now he's in retirement.
Now
you guys say
Sorry.
anything about the jeans? Did you ever say your dad? Come on, them jeans are not it.
Oh, all the time.
What you
I've
got-
tried to hide a couple pairs. It's just like,
What you
come
gonna do?
Them look
That's
like
all
Y'all
the jeans that
understand.
fit 'em.
Them jeans are custom made. You can't walk into the store and pick them off in those shelves. He literally
Hold
wasn't done like that.
So that meme they got of Michael where he says, I walked into the tailor and I saw the biggest jeans I've ever seen in my life. And I said, wider. That's real? Those jeans are really tailored?
That quote ain't real, but those jeans are custom made for him.
Really?
Everything he wears.
What the fuck?
Even
You
his
don't like
Jordan
nothing
apparel. Even his Jordan apparel comes with a Michael Jordan tag in it. They make it.
Yes.
Now,
Wow.
do all of y'all work?
6'6".
Do all of y'all work for Jordan Brand? Do y'all all work for the company, or y'all decided? Some of y'all say, "Nah, I ain't working for the company."
Marcus
independent.
doesn't. Yeah, Jeff and
I'm
I do.
independent. I can't work in corporate, man. I need my own free
It's
structure.
your dad. It's not corporate. Like,
He got the trophy room. It makes sense to me. The trophy room.
Ask them. Ask Jeff and Jazz if it's corporate or not.
Still corporate, no
It's-
matter
it's
what.
definitely.
He's the
How was working
luxury.
for your dad then, guys? How was that?
Well, it's not. I think it's more working for Nike. It's corporate. And I think what we've liked to see and what the Jordan brand's done over the past 30 years has been incredible.
Yeah.
I think they just got a great group of hardworking people there, and I've been lucky to be a part of it for 6 years. Jazz been lucky to be a part of it for the past couple years, and we just trying to keep it rolling. We want another 30 plus.
Yeah, they
it's
finally
been-
had launched a women's line too. So can we talk about
Finally.
Yeah, Jazz been killing it.
No,
Jazz
I've
been
been
helping
trying
out.
to get them to do that for years. And I mean, we had the same almost like standard response. It's all about timing. It's about the right team, so on and so forth. And, maybe a couple of years ago, I was like, whatever, just release it. But now, seeing where we are today, it makes sense. We have an incredible women's team now. We have a bunch of contributors and authenticators and athletes that we actually can have support us in an authentic and genuine way. So it was all about timing, and now is the perfect time. So I'm so excited.
That was exciting because a lot of times I couldn't wear certain sneakers because they started a size 7 in men's, and then I couldn't get it in my size. And you're like, man, I really want these, but my feet were
now we have
goofy.
extended. So no, it's about time, man. We got some heat coming, so.
Now, Marcus, you moved the trophy room to online. So how has sales been like for you guys online? I'm sure you're kind of thankful you did it right now, especially.
Yeah, honestly, it's been a blessing in disguise right now, obviously, with everything that's going on with the virus. We were actually right in the process of getting ready to submit for permits to the city for our new store. And so that's still right now on pause. But it's been interesting to just kind of watch the marketplace in terms of sneakers with this virus. And so, over the past, I think out of the past 5 weeks, there's been 3 Jordans that have completely sold out.
Yes.
So there's still a demand for Jordans,
Hell
which is
yeah.
a blessing. And right now it's all about us just trying to be smart and kind of navigate, this economy. But I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel for sure, and definitely with Jordan Brand and Nike.
Let me ask y'all a question. Which one of y'all were the first ones to show your father the Michael Jordan crying face meme?
Marcus, probably.
Probably me, man. I be taking him all types of crazy shit I see. I've never used the meme, but I definitely might have sent it to him.
You never used it?
I've used it in text messages often.
You used it, Jazz?
I've used it in text, not on Twitter, but
Private family moments.
yeah.
Who have you texted it to? The family?
I've sent it to my family. I've sent it to my fiance probably 10 times to say the least.
That's funny as hell. If I'm your fiance and I disappoint you about something.
Yeah,
and you
just
send
stop
the
that.
You know what I just sent them though was I don't know if you guys have seen like the voiceover dubs of people like taking the last dance and saying
Yes.
different funny
Yeah.
I sent him that and I sent the director that and they both just was dying laughing. They thought it was hilarious.
Now hold on, Marcus. You averaged 12.3 points in college. I think Jeffrey averaged 1.
I don't know if that's accurate either. I saw that.
Yeah, those numbers ain't accurate.
That number. Okay.
I'll take that.
He said Jeffrey averaged 1 point. Go ahead, Charlie. Where you going with this?
Them ain't accurate.
Did your father ever get on y'all about that?
No, you know, when we were hooping, it was really, you know, we kind of naturally gravitated towards it. It wasn't something he forced on us. And, you know, if we wanted to ever work out or get in the gym to work on our games, you know, he was always there for us. And so, you know, he would come to our games. He was super supportive, but it wasn't like, y'all ain't scoring enough or you need to be killing and getting kill mode more often. Nah, it was just more of a support thing. And so
maybe you're not shooting the ball enough.
Yeah, he might have. I didn't have that problem. I was shooting.
He didn't
the ball
have that problem. Yeah, if it was he would say, you know, be more aggressive or shoot the ball. Yeah, exactly. So you shoot the ball every time you touch it. But other than that, it was all support. It was all love.
So there was never a time where y'all felt like, okay, I gotta be the next Michael Jordan. I gotta follow this.
And that's the thing. We was already kind of hard enough on ourselves. I think he knew that. Like that's one of the traits we probably definitely got from him. Like we perfectionists in our own right. So I think he saw that early on, and he was just kind of like, you know, hey, you know, they probably gonna work at this thing hard enough. I probably don't need to be on their back as much. But he was never, you know, that was never even a question or a concern for us because I think I was definitely already focused and pushing myself as hard.
Well, that was the thing. We were always going to get somebody's best game. And so whether it was trying to live up to my dad's legacy or whatever, we had to go out and hold our own. It wasn't like he could come on the court and take it, you know. And so, you know, we had huge crowds and everybody trying to cross over Michael Jordan's son, dunk on Michael Jordan's son, whatever the case may be. And so, you know, we learned at an early age, we had to hold our own, sure.
Yeah, you got to get better.
I want to ask all three of y'all, what are the downfalls of being the children of an icon?
Yeah, I think Marcus just said one of them, that target, you know, it doesn't stop on the court. It's definitely off the court too. That's going to be constant throughout the rest of our lives, honestly, that target just wanting to, you know, people around you wanting to take that spot or take that notoriety. So that's definitely one of the downfalls and, you know, makes it hard to know who to trust, who to mess with growing up. You know, you just had to kind of feel your way out. And we all probably had different and unique experiences, but luckily I had these two to kind of bounce those bad, negative experiences off of. So,
right.
Mm-hmm.
What about Jasmine?
No, I think for me, it's for all of us. It's the fact that you can't control perception. Everyone's going to have something to say about anything. You damned if you do, you damned if you don't. So it's just understanding that it is what it is. You can't control it. And then making sure that it's clear that we work for everything we have. We don't have any handouts. Don't ever get it twisted. We may work for Nike and Jordan, but we had to earn our jobs and our positions. You know, Marcus has a trophy room, but he had to go through hell and back to get that store up and running. So, you know, while everybody thinks we're just riding the coattails of being, you know, our pop's kids, in actuality, we work our asses off to do what we're doing in our own rights. And nothing has been given to us, and it hasn't been easy. But you know, that comes with it, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I think for me, just echoing what they said, you know, you always got to deal with assumptions. People assuming, hey, I could get this pair of J's, or you could do this for me or that for me or whatever. And so that's something that, you know, over time you got to learn to deal with it. And like Jeff said, you know, that trust factor, you know, not knowing what people's intentions are when they coming around, or as you kind of, you know, get older and start meeting new people. You know, you always got to operate under the assumption that people are, you know, looking for something, even if they're, you know, hanging out with you. So, you know, that's just really the two main downfalls. And then, you know, everything else is on the plus side.
A lot of perks, right? Listen, and I try to make sure I don't even hit Marcus up to be like, yo, can I get like, I don't like asking for favors. So it has to be like, and people
blow
be
his
like,
phone up now.
It's my job too, man. Y'all don't.
It's his job.
You know.
He's the one to go to.
I'll definitely hit you in a minute. I'm like, Yee,
can you ask
Marcus on the
Marcus?
line.
I'm like, man, I don't want to do it. And listen, you guys have this newest venture too, by the way, this Sincoro tequila.
Yes.
Shout out to Sincoro.
Yes.
Then Sincoro.
Put up.
You know what it is.
I'm gonna try this for
that-
the first time with you guys. But yeah, I saw how that whole tequila came about. So you want to discuss this?
Honestly, there's 5 investors. My dad, he partnered with a couple of NBA owners to start this tequila. And funny, I've joked around with my dad about why he actually started it. It's not the official start or the official branding on why he started it, but I think honestly he was buying so much tequila personally that he was like, man, I got to start my own brand. And so honestly, it tastes so good. I'm glad you finally got a chance to grab it. And
Yes.
so let me
Let
know.
me tell
let us
you,
know the stick of it
if you
for
go
sure.
in the club, order that extra añejo.
The extra añejo is something else. That is something else. I'm drinking the Blanco right now. I got a Cinco margarita. It's like my mimosa. So cheers.
I'm waiting till noon over here.
They didn't say nothing to me and Charlamagne, so
I purchased this.
Listen,
got,
I'm sipping water.
Exactly.
It's okay.
I just have 2 more questions for y'all. Because we're all watching the documentary. What's your opinion of Jerry Krause?
I'll say, from watching the documentary, I think I've definitely learned a little bit more about, what was going on behind closed doors. But I would say, obviously somebody had to put that team together, and he did an unbelievable job putting that team together, first and foremost. And obviously we weren't there. It's not like we were in the locker room or in those front offices, but it just sounds like normal relationship where things start to fall apart. Agendas are a little bit different from everybody else, and if that cohesion's not there, and you don't have people like Phil to kind of keep those things in check, that's how it's going to spiral out. And they probably did miss a couple more years and a couple more titles and opportunities, but you can't really say that's on Jerry Krause's behalf, because it's a team thing, it's a team game, and everybody got to make their own decisions. So I would say great GM, but obviously there were some factors that couldn't keep the team together specifically.
He didn't land the plane right. He started it took off right, and it was in the air right, but it didn't land with the wheels out.
Exactly.
My
exactly.
take was he couldn't get out of his own way, man. Some people want credit. I think there's a quote coming in the doc where Jerry says organizations win championships, and my dad's belief was players win championships. Obviously the organization is a huge part of it. They got to put the team together, and he's not trying to diminish the role that the organization plays, but the organization can't celebrate if the players don't win the game. So
and I think y'all maybe y'all can give us a little insight into a relationship that I'm super intrigued by, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, because we always saw Kobe and said Kobe mimicked Michael's game, but now to know that Michael was actually coaching him in a way, every step of the way, is like, wow. So
Yeah.
did y'all know about that relationship?
Yeah, there's time I would remember just being in his office and the phone rang and it's Kobe. Like, more times than not, it was Kobe calling. And so I think obviously the past year has given me even me a little bit more insight as to how deep that relationship was. But yeah, I mean, they always had that friendship, and I guess once you get to a certain level, it's not that many other people you can connect to or talk to about certain things in terms of being great at what you do and right. being a master of your craft. So it makes a lot of sense, and obviously it's been a rough year, not only for us, for his family, but all around for the world. That's just a huge loss, and I think my dad was feeling that for sure. It has been feeling that for sure.
Yeah, as I've gotten older and trying to deal with trophy room, I would go to my dad's house a lot. He lives 2 hours from me, and so there would be times where I was down there working on the business plan and stuff, and Kobe would text him and just ask him little things and just little stuff, and so you would get a glimpse into them actually being friends, where early on it wasn't necessarily like that. And so it's just, man, that situation was super tough, and it had me just questioning my own mortality, and like, if that happens to Kobe and Gigi and everybody else in that chopper, it's like, it's just, you can't take life for granted, man. It was so sad.
Absolutely.
So,
what about you, Jazz?
Yeah.
No, it's definitely been eye-opening. I think, the whole #GirlDad movement really became because of Kobe passing and how he was with Gigi and, and his other daughters. And it definitely took a lot on my dad when that happened. And I think as soon as, you know, the memorial took place, he texted me right after and was just like, I love you. Like, I'm proud to be a girl dad. You make me, you know, happy to be your father every single day. And that it came from Kobe. So while my father was giving him all, you know, the knowledge and the sense and everything he needed on the court, I think Kobe played a big role into who he is as a father as well, and how he groomed his relationship with his daughters and how my father has groomed his relationship with me. So it's definitely been something I get to reap the benefit of. And, you know, we're grateful for that, because it's crazy to think of, like Marcus said, you can be here today, gone tomorrow, but he's left so many nuggets within my father. My father did a lot for him. So it's been a beautiful thing to see come full circle.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you guys.
I got one last question. When y'all around the dinner table, eating as a family, does your father have any regrets? Does he say, man, I wish they stayed together a couple more years, won a couple more rings? Like, is there any regrets you think your father has about basketball?
I don't think so. I think he, you know, I think he recognizes and is understanding of what's in his control and what isn't, you know, and what hasn't been. So I think, you know, being able to kind of delineate, like, look, you know, that was a situation that there was a lot of different factors involved, or maybe there are some situations where he just tried his best. And I think giving your best, and what I learned from him, and you know, our grandmother says this all the time, is you know, if you give your best, that's all you can do. And so I think that's something he ingrained in us at an early age. If you give your best, you can't really, you know, you won't have any regrets. That'll kind of take the regrets off the table. But nothing that I can think of.
Yeah, no, I think there's a moment in the doc where he's, you know, they're talking about, you know, did his competitiveness get in the way of the relationships with his teammates? And you know, I don't think that he regrets the way. I know he doesn't regret the way he handled his teammates. It's just that, you know, there's a price to being great, you know, and I think that, you know, he acknowledges that, and, you know, he strives for greatness. You know, I think we've had debates, Jeff and my dad, about like his Jordan deal, and, you know, those debates get heated because we're coming from a different perspective, right? We're looking at it like as where it is now, and, you know, he's obviously got the insight of where the brand has come from since '84, and so obviously us looking at it from our perspective, we're like, well, why don't you do this, or you should sign this, or take a bigger cut of Nike, or this, that, and the third. But, you know, he brings us back down to earth, because he puts us through, he tells us the full story on how it's gotten to where it is today. And, you know, that stuff kind of really, it helps us learn and educate us, so that when we, you know, move up in the ranks of business, you know, we kind of take those nuggets and learn from them.
And round of applause to Grandma, man. Y'all would not be wearing no Jordan brand, nothing, no Nike, nothing, if it wasn't for Grandma.
Gotta take those meetings, man. Gotta take those meetings.
Thank you so much for checking in too.
One more question. Around the holidays, right? You guys ever still like go outside and play basketball? Does your fiance participate? Do y'all ever have these little pickup games that still get competitive?
No.
Maybe some categories.
Right, we'll play some categories.
Okay.
Uno, you know, phase 10. I think that's where the competition lies.
Pops didn't even put a gym in the new house, a basketball
Wow.
court.
There's no court in his house.
No court in there. No.
He's like, it's over.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. No, but
He just built a golf course. He's chilling. He's retired.
And listen, I don't know if it's because I haven't eaten yet or what, but
Hey,
smooth.
nice.
it's a coral.
You wake up no hangover.
Champions right there.
Well, thank you guys for checking in, Jasmine,
Appreciate
Jeffrey,
y'all.
Marcus. Thank you so much.
Appreciate y'all, man.
It's the
Blessings,
Breakfast
man.
Club.
Blessings.
Good morning.
Hey, next time I'm in studio, I'm gonna bring some J's. This next trophy room show is fire. It's better than the fives. I'm telling you.
I did it. Enough said. All right, y'all.
All right,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Appreciate you.